Hello and welcome to the second and final part of my two-part video series on my final thoughts of the NHL's 2015-16 jersey changes. Now, for those of you wondering what this series has been about, this is a special follow-up mini-series I decided to do after my original video, which was my first video on YouTube, as well as a little second video I made right after it, covering some of the changes I missed in that video. And I thought it would be good to finalize the season changes and give my final thoughts, because some of the jersey changes, now that I've seen them on the ice, I've developed a different opinion to them. And you know what? I thought it would be worth taking some time to make a video series, and with that, my last video I talked about the Eastern Conference changes, and for this video I will be talking about the jersey changes for the 2015-16 season in the NHL's Western Conference. So with that, for this video I'm going to start with the Anaheim Ducks. Now, let's see here. Okay. So in my first video ever posted on YouTube, in fact, and in my original video, which is the same thing, I talked about the Ducks changing the color of their new lace-up on their slightly altered new home jersey, which is a slightly altered, much better version of their their last alternate jersey. And I talked about it with the Ducks putting a white lace on their new home jersey instead of a black one like they did when they first finally got rid of that script jerseys that they had when they won their only Stanley Cup in 2006. Now, I think that jersey, now that I've seen it on the ice with the white laces, it looks a bit better. I think it completes the look now to a point where it's good enough that the Ducks can use it for a few more years. So, hats off to the Ducks for managing to take what I honestly would argue is a pretty mediocre jersey and make it actually half decent. Now, let's move on to their third jersey, the cherry on the cake for the Ducks, because you know what, they, in my opinion, they absolutely, for the most part, nailed this out of the ballpark. Okay, I know that's a baseball reference in a hockey video, but just ignore that, okay? Anyways, the Ducks, they listened to their fans. Instead of, in the first video I posted, I was dreading the thought of the Ducks adopting their Stadium Series jersey as a new third jersey. And thankfully, they listened to their fans, and not only did they bring out a new orange third jersey that wasn't the Stadium Series jersey that looked, in my opinion, like a prison jumpsuit, aka an Orange County jumpsuit. They actually made a really nice jersey, and they also brought back the original Mighty Ducks logo, which is absolutely amazing in my opinion. And as far as I'm concerned, that orange third jersey of theirs is really nice. And you know what? As much as I love their new road jersey, which honestly I really like it, I think they did a great job with that one. Even though I don't really care for their home jersey, even after all the changes, I really like their new road jersey. But you know what? I think their new third jersey is such a nice jersey that I honestly would not mind for a second if they eventually phased out their home and road jerseys for their new third jersey and a matching white version of it. But the only thing is that I feel like their new orange third jersey is missing something. I don't know what the heck it is, but I know one thing. I hate the little Anaheim subscript on the collar that they have now. I think that's a real bummer that they've got that on there. But you know what? It's a great jersey. And I've seen it on the ice quite a few times now, and I honestly think it's fantastic. And the fact that they've been wearing it for a few road games, it kind of gives me this weird feeling that they might be switching to it full time sooner than we think. I think it may actually happen, especially seeing how many Orange Ducks third jerseys have been selling in Anaheim. I mean, every time I watch a Ducks game now, all I see for the most part is a whole hell of a lot of orange Mighty Duck third jerseys. And yes, I know they're the Anaheim Ducks now, but for the most part, what I see in the Anaheim crowds now is those orange third jerseys with that Mighty Duck logo. And for the most part, I think it's a great jersey. But I do feel like it's missing something. I don't know what it is, but if they fix that collar, and I don't really care for the Stadium Series lace-up on this jersey, but you know what? For the most part, I think it's really nice. And if they ever decided to make it their home jersey, I would be all for it. Even the way it is now, I really think that it would be nice to see the Ducks have a unique color out of the California teams that the other two teams don't have, instead of just a black home jersey like the Kings. So with that, I'm going to move on to the Arizona Coyotes. Now, I originally said in my first video that I really thought that they had a very missed opportunity to bring back the Kachina stripes, and I still feel the same way. I mean, the truth is, I'm really glad that they added in some black to their main jerseys. I think that kind of adds to the look. But to be honest, I really don't think they did enough to these jerseys that I really feel it was really warranted to even change their jerseys in the first place, which is kind of disappointing. I mean, I honestly really liked their last set of jerseys, and I was personally hoping that they were going to bring back the Kachina stripes in some fashion, and they did not, and I really think it's very disappointing. But as I say that, I do think that the Coyotes' new jerseys look pretty decent now that they've added some black to them. But I honestly think I still like their old ones that they replaced a little bit better. But the one thing, as I say, that really disappointed me was the lack of Kachina stripes. And once again, no hem stripes around the waist. Like, come on, Arizona. You guys looked so much better when you had stripes around your waist. And speaking of that, thankfully they brought their Phoenix Coyotes throwback from the 1990s back for a couple games this season. And as far as I'm concerned, they should either make that a third jersey, or they should definitely consider a new third jersey that uses those Kachina stripes. Because as far as I'm concerned, those Kachina stripes were the one special thing that the Coyotes had that no other team has ever had and probably never will. And as far as I'm concerned, Arizona needs to totally own it. I mean, when you've got a design feature that is so cool and so original like that actually looks good, in my opinion, I think a team like Arizona has to own it. They totally do, and that's why I'm so disappointed with their new home and road jerseys. But as I say that, now that I've seen them on the ice, I don't think they're that bad, but I still think that even after seeing them on the ice for a few months now, I think it's a huge disappointment and a real missed opportunity. But overall, I think they did all right. Now let's quickly talk about the Flames. They have decided to bring their throwback jersey again for one game this season, which I think is very nice to hear. And I honestly think that when Calgary brought in their Western-themed third jersey that they have now, they should have made that throwback jersey their home jersey and brought back the original away jersey that they had when they won the Stanley Cup back in 1989. And I mean, it's just such a shame. I mean, the Flames, their retro jersey is such a nice jersey, and honestly, it's one of my favorite jerseys. I love how colorful it is, and compared to their home and road jerseys, it's just such a nice look. And I love the colors. And I know that a lot of people complain that it doesn't have any black and that black should be on their jersey for contrast, but you know what? To be dead honest, I really like that there isn't any black, because it's hot and fiery like actual Flames, and that's what I love about their original look. it's devoid of black, and because it has no black, it would make Calgary the only team in the NHL with red and gold as their color scheme. And as far as I'm concerned, Calgary, bring your retro jerseys back as your home and road jerseys. Come on, guys. Enough of this Reebok Edge 2007 side panel crap that you wear now. Jeez. Okay. Now, moving on, let's talk about the Blackhawks. For the third straight season, they're in yet another outdoor game. Now, I think they should have not been in an outdoor game for a third straight year, but the NHL and the Minnesota Wild felt otherwise. And unfortunately, this jersey, in my opinion, is not very great. But the good news is it's not terrible. Now, for whatever reason, they took the numbers off the arms and stuck them on the shoulders. And on the arms, now you've got 3 super enlarged stripes on the arms. And you've got this thick black stripe on the bottom of the jersey. And the black shoulders on the top. Overall, for a Stadium Series jersey, it's not terrible, but I really, really, really do not like it myself. And I really hope that the Blackhawks never bring it back. And it's for an original 6 team, it's another Stadium Series jersey that should not be used, at least in my opinion. But for the 1 or 2 games that they're going to wear it, I really don't think it's a bad jersey. But what I don't like about it is that there's these super thick stripes on the arms, right where the numbers and the regular striping of their road jersey would be. And they decided to put black shoulders on this jersey because Chicago is supposedly known as the city of big shoulders, which is a phrase that I have never heard before in regards to talking about Chicago. Every time I've heard something said about Chicago, all I've ever heard in my entire life until they unveiled that jersey was that Chicago is known as the Windy City. So that's a bit of a head scratcher for me. And as for the collar, it's this overlapping half black, half white and red starred collar. And as far as I understand, they're trying to replicate their state flag. And I think it kind of sucks. I really don't like that feature at all, and I think it would have looked a lot better if the collar was just all black. But anyways, I mean, that jersey is a huge meh to me, but as I say that, it is the first really different design that the Blackhawks have had in an outdoor game since their 2009 game against Detroit. And let me explain that, because when in the 2013-14 season, all they did was slightly alter their longtime third jersey, angle the stripes, cut them off on the arms, angle the numbers, stretch out their numbers on the back, and put on a Stadium Series collar with those mock tie laces and a really bad chrome logo, in my opinion. I really did not care for that chrome logo. And as I say that, there were some chrome logos that I honestly thought were pretty good. But Chicago's logo is one of the last ones that should be chromed, in my opinion. Now let's move on to the Avalanche. Now that I've seen the new Colorado State Flag C shoulder patch on their home and road jerseys, I actually really like it. And I'm glad that the not the Blackhawks, but the Avalanche. I'm glad that the Avalanche got rid of the Yeti foot for that. But, as I said in my original video, if you were going to go through all of that to change the shoulder patches, instead of addressing something that didn't even need to be addressed, you should have just fixed your damn jerseys. And speaking of jerseys, their Stadium Series jersey is really boring. It's just that new shoulder patch on their home and road jerseys on the front of their new Stadium Series jersey. And because their home and road jerseys are so bad, this Stadium Series jersey is a step up. And I do like the striping on the arms, and I do like the simplicity of it compared to the road jersey, but I mean, I know that at most they're going to wear it for 2 or 3 games, but I do think that they could have done a little bit better. But I'm just so happy to see that the NHL is, for the first time, using regular crests on the Stadium Series jerseys instead of these weird chrome carbon fiber things that they've been doing. Now, let's talk about their third jersey. When I first saw it, I was extremely excited. I really thought it was going to be a nice jersey. But once I saw it on the ice, I was really disappointed. Now, as I say that, I really, really like the new navy blue and white look of their third jersey. But the problem I have with it is that the burgundy on the cuffs of the arms looks invisible a lot of times when they're skating on the ice. I feel like it completely fades into the blue. And I really think that's disappointing. And I honestly think that Colorado should have done a lot better. And one thing I really hate about their new jersey, their new alternate, is the logo. I mean, if you were going to do a Rockies-esque logo, you should have just put the original Colorado NHL Rockies logo on the front. I mean, after all these years, I can't see there being any problems or concerns from the Devils for the Colorado Avalanche using it after all these years. I just can't. And as far as I'm concerned, it looks a zillion times better than this new faux Rockies weird logo that they came up with. And personally, I hate it. I think it's a terrible logo. And it would have looked a lot better if they just put their regular logo on the front. And on top of that, what the hell's going on with that state flag shoulder patch on the one shoulder? Like, really? You couldn't have come up with something better? They could have at least put the Colorado State C logo on their new home and road jersey. Or, no, let me reword that. They could have taken the shoulder patch from their home and road jerseys and stuck that on both shoulders. At least it would have looked a little better. And once again, Colorado's third jersey is like Calgary's regular jerseys where it just has this random logo on the shoulders. Like, okay. Anyway, very disappointing. As for Edmonton's third jersey, aka the WHA throwback, they're only wearing it for 7 games this season, but it is such a nice jersey, and it has been so popular with the Oiler fans that I hear it's coming back as a third jersey next year, and I think it's a beautiful jersey. Now, I'm not going to talk much more about that because I kind of already summed it up. Now, as for the Kings, they've decided to wear their golden yellow Legends Night jersey again. And I really think it's about time the Kings make that jersey their third jersey. It is a spectacular jersey in my opinion. And I hear they're going to wear it for one special road game against the Boston Bruins to commemorate their 50th anniversary as an NHL franchise. Now, let's move on to the Wild. Now that they've brought out their Stadium Series jersey, I think it's the best green jersey that the Wild have ever had since they've entered the league in 2000, which is almost 20 years ago, which I can't believe how time flies, but anyway. The Wild's new Stadium Series jersey is really nice. I really like it. I just wished it had some stripes around the waist. If it had that, as well as a lace-up collar, grr, thumbs down for the overlapping collar yet again. If they would have just had a lace-up collar and the arm stripes around the waist, this jersey would be, in my opinion, a 10 out of 10. It is a really nice jersey, and I hope it gets the ball rolling for a new home jersey for the Wild, because it's a lot better than their current third and home jersey as far as I'm concerned. And you know what? I'd like to see either a dark green and white, a dark green version of the road jersey, or a vintage white version of their new Stadium Series jersey with the arm stripes around the waist on both jerseys and a lace-up collar. Either way, I think that would look really, really nice. Now let's move on to Nashville real quick. I like the new gold helmet, but I like the navy helmet better. But as I say that, I think it's a nice little change up that they've got a gold helmet. I think it's a nice touch, especially for Nashville. Let's talk about the Sharks real quick. Their heritage jersey ended up being their 1991 throwback, except instead of the lighter shade of teal they used back in 1991, they have decided to bring it back using the Sharks' current shade of teal. And all I can say is I just don't understand why they ever got rid of it in the first place. That jersey and its white counterpart need to be the home and road jerseys like right now. Those jerseys are by far the best the Sharks have ever worn, and as far as I'm concerned, they're absolutely spectacular. And guess what? Their throwback heritage jersey has been so popular that they actually decided to wear it for 2 extra games on top of the 3 that they set out to wear it for. So imagine that, its white version and their current black jersey for their uniform set. If they did that, the Sharks would have one of the best sets in the NHL. I'm dead serious when I say that, and it's just such a disappointment. And when I see their throwback, it's such a shame to see how far the Sharks have really fallen in terms of their uniforms. Such a shame. And, oh yeah, one more thing. It seems like I hear that the Sharks have finally decided to get rid of the front numbers due to their 25th anniversary patch being in the place that those numbers would go. But, as I say that, we won't know for sure until next season if the front numbers are gone for good or not. But time will tell. Now let's move on to the Canucks real quick. Their new 94 throwback is awesome in my opinion. And I really hope that they make it their new 3rd jersey at least. I mean, it's so cool to see the Canucks have a jersey that's different. And I think it should be their 3rd jersey because it is significantly different from their home jersey. Where their current 3rd jersey, I think it's a hell of a lot better than their current home jersey. It's way too similar. I mean, besides a little bit of blue between the green and white on the stripes, and the vintage logo on the front and the Johnny Canuck V logo on the shoulders, they're the same jersey. And I hate that agency font they use for their letters and numbers of the jersey. And I think that if they made their longtime 3rd jersey the home jersey and made their 1994 throwback jersey their new alternate jersey, I think the Canucks would look a hell of a lot better. And I'm saying that even though I'm not even a big fan of the Orca, but I think that if they just made their 3rd jersey the home jersey, I think their road jersey, even with the Orca on the front, would be good enough to stay. Anyways, let's move on and conclude this with the AllStar jerseys. Now, in my opinion, for the first time in many years, the NHL finally went with something a little more simple for the All-Star Game. Now, I still don't understand those weird gray stripes that go from the arms to the back across the nameplates. I hated that look. I think it's terrible. But you know what? For the All-Star Game, I don't mind. But one thing that really disappointed me was the fact that the game was in Nashville, and instead of a white jersey, they did not have a gold jersey. I mean, Nashville is the only team in the NHL with a full-time gold jersey, and they pride themselves in being the gold city in hockey. They pride themselves, everything they do is, every time they're in the stadium, all they wear is yellow, golden yellow, and I think they should have had a yellow jersey. Imagine a yellow All-Star jersey against the black one that they used. That would have been a nice matchup. But anyways, I know it's the All-Star Game, so I can understand the NHL not really wanting to bother too much, but as I say that, I think it was a real missed opportunity. Now, with that, that is the end of the two-part video series I've been working on with my final thoughts of the NHL's 2015-16 changes. Now, if you haven't watched my original two videos talking about my initial thoughts on the changes for this season, if you've got any time on your hands, feel free to check those out. And my next video that I do that is hockey related will be about the 2016-17 changes, because I've heard a few things and I've already seen a few things. So if you're looking forward to hearing about some of that and what's possibly going on in the NHL in terms of jersey changes for the 2016-17 season, feel free to check out that video once I get it uploaded on here. And once again, until my next video, as I always say, take care and bye for now.